Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with the M.
And team.
Listen, y'all, today I'm going to talk about young men, particularly what's going on with young men in the world today. I've been getting a lot of emails about, the issues that young men are going through in today's society. And, I've been doing a little research and I'm going to read y'all some statistics, which is terrifying. Mentally, young men die by suicide 4 times more than women in the young age. Men are less likely to be diagnosed with depression, despite the high suicide rates. Around 30% of young adults, men included, report having mental health challenges. 52% of workers, mostly under 50, report feeling burnt out in the last year. 1 out of 4 men aged 15 to 34 report feeling lonely. Young men are less likely to seek therapy and talk openly about emotional distress. Employment. Only 36% of men have bachelor's degree compared to 39% of women. College enrollment has been on a decline for men for the past 20 years, increasing among women. The labor workforce among young men is stagnant while women are rising. Men without college degrees earn less than they did in 1973, adjusted for inflation. The income gap between educated and non-educated men is widening. 47 of prime-age men not working because of lack of skills, or work history, or no education at all.
What's the percentage on that one?
47%.
Hold on, 47% what?
Of prime-age men.
Mm-hmm.
That's between 18 and 54, I think. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have it here, but I think that's the prime age. They're not working because
they don't have a skill.
Poor work history and no education.
Poor work history and no education.
None.
Okay.
Social. 63% of men 18 to 34 are single compared to 34% of women in the same age group. That's a huge difference. 63% of men are single, but compared to 34% of women in the same age group. So men are remaining single longer than women.
But there's more
women who are
women in the world.
Oh yeah, there's definitely more women in the world.
But there's more single men.
It gets worse.
This doesn't sound good.
No, it gets worse. Young men report fewer close relationships than any previous generations. Some men feel left behind as gender equality initiatives focus mostly on women.
How do we make that correlation? That was like a random. Wow. I'll be the judge of that, I think.
Dating apps and social media trends often leave young men feeling rejected or invisible.
The dating apps that they're on and dominate and just run through random. Okay, never mind.
We're gonna tackle some of this.
Okay. Yep.
Some young men believe progress for women have come at their expense. There's a lack of male-focused resources, education, mental health, social support compared to those aimed at women. Big picture. Rising male struggles affect mental health, economic productivity, and family formation.
Yes, it does.
And there's
rising male formation.
Yep, because men are just basically just saying we can't afford to even think about families because we're not making the money. So women take a slack because the men aren't making the money necessary to raise families, which is so crazy because growing up in my generation, it was kind of like you had to take care of your family. You got to do something. So they told you can't just sit back and wait for things to happen, wait for a woman to take care of you. You have to go out there and find it. Problem is, when I was growing up, you had different resources. You had trades in the school.
Yeah, but you also had a different financial setup. And the upbringing of the people behind you's financial setup was different. Right? We do come from a time where the woman wasn't like able to work. She wasn't able to have bank accounts,
Nope.
credit cards.
Nope.
Like,
and we're talking about the 70s.
Yeah, it's not like that long ago.
No.
Okay, it's not like that long ago. So the things that like your grandparents did that you saw, right? The man burdened with all these bills, and maybe had to put his education on hold and couldn't finish a program and just had to kind of jump in because the family has started immediately.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of that's just because how it was set up, right? She couldn't go out and jump in, and especially couldn't jump in and make the type of money that he was able to make.
No.
Like, right? So we can't forget about that part. Let's talk about some of these some of these facts.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, they were saying the overall was like why young men aren't going to college.
Yeah.
Well, here's some of the reasons. Economic realities, rising tuition costs. College has become so damn expensive that people are asking, is it really worth going it? Is there the return on investment worth doing it? Especially today, because college is crazy expensive now.
Okay.
Low rate of return. They're like, you can go get a degree, but doesn't guarantee you're going to get a job now. Before you can get anything, people used to always get, communication degrees.
Weird.
I never understood that. Like, nothing against anybody with communication degrees, but I'm just saying.
I just be like, why is everybody in this? Like, what are y'all even doing?
What are you doing? What are you doing, really?
You're on the outside when you don't know what everybody else is doing. Hating on these people.
Exactly. And you're like, but
it used to be a point in time where you could just jump in, move with the masses and you're good. That's basically what we're saying, right?
Yep. Used to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the other one is immediate needs. Many young men feel pressure to start earning right away to support themselves or their families. That goes back to what we've said a long time ago. For these men to get to this point, young men to get to this point, we as a society and as a family failed them when they were little.
Yeah, because it's not all the young men, it's just that if we don't work on it now, it's going to be, a higher percentage of men that's in this situation. And technically, when we talk about the men that's high earning, we need them to lead and earn highly, I guess, How else they going to do it?
There you go. So, ladies, when you talk about, I want a six-figure man.
You want to turn around and turn it on the ladies?
I'm turning on ladies, damn it. Y'all talking all that shit. Talking about, I need a six-figure man. Thinking that shit just happens overnight. It don't. That's a guy who said, you know what? I got to work on myself in spite of sorry-ass school, sorry-ass parenting, sorry-ass mentorship. I'm going to do what I need to do to be successful. So, ladies, so when you see a guy like that, he's not going to go for you just because you look good, you smell good, you're fine. Damn no, hell no. All that damn we're going to put on myself, and you think I'm just going to holler the first pretty face because, she's pretty. I'm going to go ahead and spend my time with her. Hell no. She better have something going on. Because if not, why should I spend my time with you? So, ladies, understand that man spent a lot of time making sure he feels good by himself and making sure he's valuable and have value. For him to just accept any old thing. Y'all a dime a dozen. He fine playing y'all pretty girl.
Y'all got dismissed.
Yeah, he fine playing y'all. Then a smart guy go to college. He got about 20 women lined up trying to holler at him.
Lined up
trying to holler at him. Why? That dude going to school, that guy he gonna get his degree, he's gonna do very well. I gotta get my tentacles. I got to get to know him.
Wow.
So maybe he could be a prospective suitor, or he could be coming after me, or I could be coming after him. So again, that's what's happening with men now. These men are feeling like left out. So I'll talk about the men that went to school. The men that don't go to school, the men that don't have education, they're on the other side because they were let down early and they checked out early. So then when they graduate, nobody told them how to live life outside of school. Because you think about it, the curriculum in schools nowadays suck. These kids come out of school, don't know how to write a check, don't know how to balance a checkbook, don't understand bills. You can't even balance your money. You can have
online banking.
Yes, you can't do that. Some people, I know a guy, sad I know this dude, but he said to me one time, he didn't realize, he didn't understand why his checking account kept going in the negative.
No.
And I asked him, I
You
said,
know,
what do you mean? Or what do you mean? He said, well, I write checks and I do stuff, and the money, next thing I know, my money's gone.
his
I said,
money's
okay,
gone.
let me ask you a question.
His
This may be
money.
a dumb question, but do you take an account for stuff that you write that didn't clear your bank account? He had a he had a look on his face like somebody got about to be hit by a truck. He said, "What does that mean?" I said, "You just can't write checks on what you see in the bank. You have to look and make sure that all the checks you wrote previously cleared. Because checks don't clear overnight."
No.
And he was
How old
like,
is he?
he was 38 at that time.
Yeah, you know that pissed me off. It would. I'm talking to your old ass about that.
I was like, and he went to college.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That would have pissed me off. That would have pissed me off because you don't know what happens to your money. And then let's say that happens to you once or twice in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get it, right? You figured it out. Like, oh, I wasn't accounting for the other stuff. You know, I just took a quick peek and didn't even actually pay attention to the account maybe. You get it after the first or second time. The simple thing, you're going to keep on doing it. No, you darn near need it. And they need it. Something's not right there.
See, it gets
Like,
worse.
wow.
It gets worse. He said, in order for me to maintain my bills, I have to go to check cashing places, make sure that I can borrow money. Once you borrow money, you put in your account, then they take a portion of the money, not the entire amount, but you can extend it for another 15
That's why this
days.
stuff is illegal in certain states.
It
Because
has
how
to be.
ridiculous is that? That's what I just said. He's got, you know, certain type of people's tendencies. Like this is not good tendencies.
And I looked at him. I said, you know that's not right, right? Yeah, man. Because and this was a few years ago. He's like, yeah, I can get these fees and stuff. And you gonna continue to get fees until you control your spending.
That's what it boils down to. You just want to do
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to do, and then come talk to me and pretend like you don't know what's happening with your money. You would not be talking to me about that.
See, it gets worse. This dude made, I think it was 90 or 95,000 a year,
Mm-hmm.
and I had no concept of money. I just thought once it's in there, you can spend it.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you know what? I can't even talk to you because right now I'm gonna get mad talking to you because why am I talking? If you had no education, you were just kept in the backyard and nobody taught you anything. I would say, you know what? Let's teach you something. Yeah. You went to school, got a master's degree, mind you, and that's how you think. I said, oh, you didn't go to a book and find out about that, about budgeting. And he was like, oh, okay, I need to check out, I could talk. Won't you talk to me? I said, I'm not going to tell you. I said, if you were a kid, I would talk to you. You're not a kid.
No, he's in denial.
Yes.
That's called denial,
It's crazy.
You just got to admit that basically have a problem. That's it. And you have to stop. That's all. He's in denial, like a lot of people are. They're in denial. And a lot of today's men are in denial as well, as far as what you really have to do to, kind of remove you from where you at and get you to where you need to go. And nobody wants to hear that from the woman who you feel like, has had a paved path in today's society.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to say to a certain extent. I think to the whole extent, right? There's a lot of truth. There's a whole lot of truth to that. When you look at how the classrooms are set up in grade school, right? The amount of time we're sitting down, doing just busy work, sitting there writing, or supposed to be doing schoolwork or teachers teaching. You're there for like 45 minutes to an hour. Just, they expect you to be calm and just relax. And if you were at home with your kids and your daughter and your son, your daughter would go off to her own little space and she'd start, arts and crafts, random stuff. She'll start doing little makeup. She'll start writing stuff, maybe start coloring. She'll calm herself, right? And she'll just kind of zone out in this very little calm space. She might even do a little tea party, imagine little friends, but it'd be a very calm space for her, right? Your sons, on the other hand, are sitting there, soccer balls, knocking her tea party friends out on the floor, so now she's upset and she's just trying to create the calm environment. And what are they over there doing? Chaos, enjoying it, flipping off the walls,
Yes.
Talking about some, yeah, I did that. Mom, did you see that? No, I didn't want to know because you almost knocked me upside my face with that ball one more time, kicking that ball up in this house. Putting the holes in your walls. How you hanging off the wall? What are you doing, child?
See, you just explained the issue. Education never adjusted for how boys learn and how girls learn.
Mm-hmm.
When
Not adjusted for how girls learn.
But for us,
the boys, because that example, you go into the classroom. The boys got 30 minutes for the entire day to do a little bit of chaos. It's control chaos in people. Right?
Yes.
And at a certain age, you stop the REOS, which, that's still a little control chaos, but it's at least a little freer than PE.
Mm-hmm.
But the classroom ultimately caters to, the girl child. It literally, it's not to say that it's to where the boy can't thrive, right? I'm not saying that. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that the setup is that to which caters to a girl. I remember, I was there. I was in the classroom chilling my hardest, and what's the boys doing? They got little paper footballs, flicking that across the classroom. One kid is crawling on the floor. Like, why are you crawling on the floor? It's midday. And you just sitting up and you just scholarly, I just want to learn, la la la. And life is all, flowers and roses, and the boys over there getting in trouble. Mm-hmm. They don't know what to do with themselves. They're about to put a girl in the headlock while they go to the bathroom. Like they're just amped, and like they're ruining the classroom, basically.
And my question is, whose fault is that?
Yeah. Because we're all children here.
Yes.
So we're all children here. We just showed up. The real question is who said that this system is what works? And why we keep doing it? Yeah. This is it's not the worst system, right?
No.
But it's certainly not the best to keep using.
No. When you see you keep saying we spend billions and billions of dollars on education. I'm like, doing what? What are you doing? When the boys can barely graduate, they can barely pass, they're already checked out by third grade, and they just pass them on, and then goodbye, good life, good luck with life. No.
Let me tell you about some of the software programs that the school system gave off to the kids since pandemic and up to date. It'd be like almost like a supplement to you reading with your child, or making sure that your child spends the 20 minutes a day reading, mm-hmm. to kind of like make sure that the kids are reading. Mm-hmm. No way you can do that. Parents have to actually get in there, right? But okay, so we're going to create a software system. We're going to invest money in it, right? Because mm-hmm. all these things, we got to pay the people who created these softwares. We got to buy it from them or rent it from them. These kids, they just sitting there pretending they're not reading a thing. They break all the systems. They break all the codes. It doesn't matter how young they are. They figure it out. Some of them got like time lock systems on it to where it's supposed to like technically time, the situation. Some got little tests. And you just sit there and you gotta be like a little fly on the wall, with the kids. Mm-hmm. So now you can go to your room and do your stuff, and you just tucked away in the little crack door. You're like, look at this little joker, ain't doing nothing but Roblox on the other screen and pretending on the next screen.
Oh, no, that's that.
Yeah. So it's like the whole idea of going green, and like you said, we keep investing these billions of dollars, and the idea that we're trying to create a different system, right? Mm-hmm. It's always something really super flawed. Like, what are you doing?
Yes.
What are we? And okay, so now we have the issues with cell phones in school, on top of the idea that the kids can't read. Half of the kids, 80% of the kids in Baltimore couldn't do mathematics, mm-hmm. and it was like, what is happening here? Where all the kids is done? Yes, they can't do basic math. Come on,
and yet you keep giving more money every mm-hmm. year to education in Baltimore mm-hmm. County and Baltimore City, but these kids are doing worse. Yeah. So the money is not going to solve the problem. It's obviously you need to revamp how you're teaching these kids today, because mm-hmm. the shit we learn today, to be honest, they need to revamp everything, because what you learn and what I learned is obsolete. in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
They need real life skills, not just reading, writing, arithmetic. They need how do you get out there and mingle and exist in this world and thrive in this world, not just you're out of here, you got a degree, okay. What job you gonna get nowadays with a degree? Before you get when I was going to school, you get a degree, you're good. You can get a nice little job somewhere. They'll train you, and next year you retired at 20, 30 years, and you're good. Same thing with you, but it became a little less.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the conversation started with us.
And now
Mm-hmm.
the
Now the
producer's
conversation
age,
is like booming.
yep. Now these kids are going out of school getting in major debt.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out ain't got no damn jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But then they're like, oh well, that's their fault. No, obviously it's society's fault. These kids are going to school, getting degrees, and coming out and don't have nothing to go after. So then these kids are stuck with this massive debt that they're like, oh, you're gonna pay this. Remember, you had that little time when you had to pay it. Now, you're paying that, paying that stuff now.
It's due now.
So now you got a whole bunch of kids, young adults, who sitting there and say, I spent all this goddamn money for what?
So now it's hard to advise your younger cousins, siblings, and all that to kind of jump in because the system didn't work for you.
Nope. And it's getting worse.
I think that's half of the issue too, right there, is that we always kind of depended on the people in front of us to kind of direct us and tell us where to go and what to do, and you saw it, right? So you saw him go away to college. You saw him come home from school. You saw him get his first new car. You saw the success, the progress.
Yes.
Right? It was something visual.
Mm-hmm.
So when it was your time to kind of jump in, it was okay to jump in because you said, no, the system, technically it should work as long as I'm working, right? But then it gets to the point where now people don't feel like, the system's going to work, whether it be, and it's weird because it's like, it's not just college that people aren't necessarily like having, believing in. It's also like trade schools. Like, I don't want to be a plumber. I don't want to be a mechanic. Hey, listen, but what do you want to be?
Strange you brought that up. The next thing they're talking about is different paths. Mm-hmm. Everybody ain't for college. That's the first thing I'm going to say here. College ain't for everybody.
Something's for you.
But something's for you. You got to find something. You
can't just do high school.
No.
I mean, you can, but the slim chances of you just like you gotta do something else. Like, come on.
And that's what they're saying. You can go to trades. You can get into plumbing, electrical work, boot camp for tech, which is changing every day. Mm-hmm. Logistics are in demand and often pay very well to our degree. Entrepreneurship, gig work. Social media, content creation, Uber, military. Now, military and apprenticeship, I don't know about the military. It used to be a point where when I was going to school, it was like, oh, you can come out, go to military, become an officer, first officer, by just going to some, I remember I think it was Navy and Air Force or something. You have a degree. You can go in and be not an enlistment man, but an officer because you have a degree. Mm-hmm. And he was paying all kinds of crazy shit back then. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to go in the military. I said, no, because first of all, some damn fight break out there. And I'm like, I ain't trying to fight them. No, we got your ass. You have to go out there and do what you got to do. No, that's too much control. That means you're controlling what I need to do.
That was a big picture you just painted, but okay.
Yeah, wow. I don't know. I don't want nobody. Wow. No, I don't control. Damn that.
Some fight break out.
A fight break. I now got to go out there and do what I got to do. I can't just sit back and behind a desk and write, a piece of paper or anything. But now, you gotta go out there and put in work. I ain't trying to go in there and put in work. You see what they do to these poor military people that come back when they're fucked up and don't even want to take care of them. You're on the street homeless and all fucked up. No. And again, y'all, I have military people in my family all throughout, and Miss T is a former military. She's a vet. So I ain't talking bad about military, but the military itself,
he's not for it.
No, do something different. Come in the apprenticeship, do something else. But you gotta do something. So college is not the be all, get all. It's part of many things you should look at because you got to do something with your life. You can't just sit here and say, oh, they'll just drop out the sky. Well, a lot of shit will drop out the sky, but opportunities and shit is not going to happen. You got to come up with something. So that's what they're telling people. And the other big thing is the mental part. This to me is the biggest issue. When it comes to education, that kind of stuff, once you know what you want to do, you can go find the education and do it. But mentally, you get messed up. That sets you back more than anything else. And here's the mental issues guys are going through.
Okay.
The most important thing, the number one thing they said is lack of purpose. Many young men struggle with finding direction or don't see the value of education for college achieving their goals.
Mm-hmm.
Burnout and disengagement. After high school, some are simply tired of school or felt unsupported in school,
Mm-hmm.
which of course causes mental health struggles.
That's a major one right there.
Anxiety, depression, isolation among young men affect their academic and planning. So if you don't take care when they're little and they grow up with no direction and no vision of what they should do, now you got that man who's supposed to be taking care of the family, who's supposed to be out there, doing what he got to do to make himself presentable for a woman. He's a guy that's stuck because school let him down. His parents, he gonna think, let them down because he's like, man, they didn't see that I wasn't learning shit. So now they get out in the world, go, got your diploma, go get something. What you gonna get? Those days of just going out and finding a job, somebody gonna take you and build you. Those days are gone. Yeah. They want you to have some sort of skills, some sort of soft skills. And now with AI getting involved with this, it changes even more. It's gonna eliminate a lot of entry level jobs because I can pay AI. Have AI do all this, which people don't really think about. Yeah, it's easy, but it replaces a body.
Yeah, and so it's forcing the person to be more specialized. Yeah, you got to do, what AI can't do.
So now you're looking at all the jobs you get into. There's certain jobs that's not going to get affected. Plumbing, service jobs,
all the service
hair,
jobs.
All that stuff. AI is not going. You're not going to have a robot do your dreads.
No.
You're not going to have a robot, just out there, doing stuff that the plumbing. You're not going to have. Oh, look at the AI guy doing plumbing. He may get some water on him, and next you know the damn robot blow up.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to have people doing it, but it's just they don't have a foot in the door anymore. We had trade schools. You say, I want to do cars, or I want to do body work, I want to do hair, I want to do. So schools had that.
Yes.
In the school.
The access to the trade schools, and it's just to me something about being exposed to those trades because it is a trade. So there's a certain level of like mastery you have for each level in that trade, right? Your first level of mastery, right? You're an apprentice.
Yes.
Right. For most of the trades, your first, and that's what maybe a year or two, depending on the trade that you're into. So the idea that you kind of start getting that trade under your belt at 16 versus 18 to 21 where you kind of uncertain and now you're incurring, the debt from the trade school because all the trade schools now are pretty much like private schools. So, they're costly now.
Yes.
So that just makes a big difference, I think.
It does. And again, you look at the money. Because again, you're not dealing with people with a lot of money. I mean, most of us struggle. Most parents are struggling to keep a roof over your head, food in your stomach. Then they say, I have extra money to send you to some trade school or some other school if they're not going to give you some sort of, allowance or some sort of scholarship for it. So if you don't have the money, now you're like, okay, I really want to do this, but I can't do this because I can't afford it.
Right, and then more than just somebody struggling, right? A lot of people are just financially not disciplined, right? So you're kind of living your life. Your lifestyle is just a little all over the place. You're okay to dump money here, but not okay to dump money here, right? And then it's something about people who haven't previously invested in their education or skill financially. It's kind of hard for them to move in that direction sometimes for the next generation. And it's also kind of hard to tell that next generation that, hey, you have to go out and work for this and, bring that money home and then take it to the school, to the financial institute and put it on that bill. I was explaining to the kids, there was a concept where you quote unquote worked your way through college. That's a thing. Don't nobody owe y'all nothing. What are y'all talking about? College is expensive. Those them shoes up on your feet. How much are those, by the way? So, granted, we have struggles, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we also have poor choices, and we're valuing certain things differently, right?
Yep. We are. We are.
Just the bottom line. When we look at how we're moving, what we're buying, where we're investing our money at, as parents, um, the difference between a 2-car note household and a 1-car note household.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we make the sacrifices to build fluff in the household, right?
Absolutely.
So that we can maybe invest some money in the kids' tutoring, right? So that they have a good grasp. Maybe we can put the kids into a club sport or, whatever type of club activity to help expose them to more
Mm-hmm.
competition, more losses, more wins in life.
Yes.
More community building, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the children who are falling in those categories are lacking, that well-rounded perspective in their upbringing, right? The
Yes.
idea of it being a different world out there, right? They've
Yes.
only seen a lot of, they've just not seen much.
No.
The difference between coming up and having a parent who went to college, and you see the college, the brag gear inside the house.
Mm-hmm.
You might see a little flag or ribbon in the house. You're going to hear them talk about it on the phone. Those are going to be the parents who are going to be more apt to kind of get up and go to the basketball games or the football games in the season. Those are definitely going to be the ones who are taking you on the campuses and kind of giving you those tours, like the grooming is happening. And on the other side, perhaps a struggle is presented.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, we're just trying to survive. Like, you could literally have 2 households who are making the same amount of money. They're not making it the same way,
Mm-hmm.
but they're able to bring in the same amount of money. But one household will be moving in a way to where they really feel like they're strapped, and the other household will, not be, because there's financial discipline.
And that is one of the issues that, just in general,
Mm-hmm.
just we're financially, as a society, we are built on debt.
Mm. Well, you're mentally strapped with wants, right?
Mm-hmm.
In addition to your needs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so the stuff that, because you see it like, no, I'm trying to wear chains too.
Like, why can't I do it?
Yeah, like, why I can't wear chains like old boy? No, I'm trying to grow my hair out long like him too. So now you out here throwing your money on jewelry in the beauty shop, getting your hair done, and you trying to look super fresh. So now you gotta get the clothes that match it, and I'm not saying you shouldn't look good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that, but it's a time and place for everything. Like, did you stack anything before you started jumping out there and buying your little jewelry pieces? Or like you said, did you say, I'm going to grab it now and then pay for it later? Right? And it's not to say we've worked like the perfect financial walk either, right?
No.
It's not to say that, but when you want to be honest about it, not being financially disciplined. Like, I want my baby girl to have everything right now. Excuse me? How old is she? Oh, she 8.
she don't even think twice with those damn shoes that you bought for her, or that dress, or whatever you bought, or that purse. She don't think twice about that.
She don't care. Take her to Five and Below and out to the movies, a little Panera Bread run, maybe sit down inside the Chipotle instead of taking it to go. And you spoiled her for the day.
Yep.
Y'all want to go shopping? Y'all better run into the Burlington. And I'm not saying you can't go all in maybe once a year.
Maybe.
Do you want to do this every paycheck? Nah, I got to spoil my daughter. No, why?
No.
You just want to throw your money away and pretend like you've done something with your child, and you've done nothing for her. You've destroyed her, actually. Then let's say it's a boy.
Oh, Jesus.
Let's say, now I'm taking the best care of my little man. So now every time you see little man, how his feet look?
Fresh.
Super fresh.
Oh, he got new kicks on all the time.
What's his hairline looking like?
Tight.
Right. You might even have a little design in there or something like that, right?
There you go.
But you don't have money for tutoring for this little guy.
Knowing he's struggling. Because because one thing we look at as parents is we look at that damn report card. I don't want to hear no, oh, I'm struggling. Are you struggling? Okay, let's go talk to the teacher. Just go talk to someone. Let's take care of this. Don't, oh, I'll do better next time. Oh, no. There ain't gonna be no next time.
You actually know how you know your son is struggling with reading? He's sitting next to you while he's reading.
Oh, no. But no.
I mean, your kid has to read something out loud to you. That's just like, did you read the directions, son? What does it say to do? And if he's stumbling, you're like, huh? Oh. Well, let me sit down and see. Because something ain't right in there. And then you sit down and tell him to read you a little more because something's not right because I heard you do a little stumbling. Right? And that's how you normally know. It's before the report cards.
But T, that's assuming as a parent that you're engaged with your kid. That's
the point. That's the point.
TV.
Because the shoes is not engaged. The shoes is nice and it's a bonus. And if you can afford it, then that is very nice. And I'm not saying that you can't afford tutoring. I'm just saying that are we prioritizing, that good look over, building someone up mentally with the things that people can never take away from you, right? These clothes you're going to grow out of, right?
You are so correct.
The jewelry you're going to lose. I'm sorry. My kids lose all jewelry. I'm just saying, I don't have no pieces, personally from my childhood either. So all this, jewelry and it's nice. I think it's cute. It's
very nice.
Like, oh my goodness, look at that baby with the gold bracelet. It's cute. But come on. If you don't have your things in order and you don't try to start to put them in order. See, once you just start trying to make these types of changes, you're going to start going down that rabbit hole and start exploring and understanding all the things kind of line in.
Yes.
When you have discipline for yourself, now you start expecting your kid to have that discipline too.
Yeah. Yeah, and without question, I know when I was growing up, remember World Book Encyclopedias? The guy used to come on and sell you the book.
First of all, I don't remember when they came out to buy them, but it was like a big collection. Yeah, in the black household, you knew you had money when you walked in there. They had a complete collection. Yeah,
and my grandparents was like, "You want to get this book?" And I was like, "Why would I get the book?" You cannot be in the world stupid. And I was little, and you're not gonna be stupid because they came from a different mindset where education was key.
Well, no, see, here's the other part. They came from a different mindset. They were okay with allowing their child to be miserable.
Yeah, they didn't give a shit.
No, they didn't. And then they beat you to not be. You better stretch your misery up next to me. You think you were going to sit there and pout and cry and whine next to them at the dining room table while you were sitting there reading that dictionary for the encyclopedia for no reason at all?
No, your ass is going to read it. Yeah. You're going to like it.
And you're going to enjoy it.
And they're going to ask you what you learned.
Yeah.
You're going to write down some notes, and they're going to go open that book.
And it better make sense. Because they didn't read it themselves. So it better make sense to them when you talking to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, that helped a lot because you're like, oh, damn, I can't get around this shit.
Yeah.
No, not getting around because they understand how hard it was. Because they weren't given the opportunity to get the education. So they said, oh, this next generation going to get the education.
And then 5 years later, you pulling out stuff from the encyclopedia in a random spot, thinking you doing it. I'm like, yeah, no, I remember this one story.
Yeah.
You know? Yes. Like, you was like, damn. This is made me sit there and read the encyclopedia and, paid off. Look at me.
Look at you.
But the one thing, that kind of speaks to is how we're just appeasing today's children, right? We're not okay with the kids, quote unquote, being uncomfortable and being upset with us. Like, first of all, you're not upset with me. You're not upset with me. You're upset with yourself. I didn't offend you. I'm trying to help you, but you're too foolish to know. So sit down, fix your face, and do what I told you to do.
Yep.
Like, we have to really be okay. And it's not the idea of, oh, I'm not my kid's friend, right? Like, let's get over that part, right? Don't give a damn if you're your kid's friend or not. They still need some structure now. They're children.
They have to, because you don't give them structure. The world's going to give them structure. That world structure is going to be a lot different than your structure because they don't care. Your kid dumb out there doing crazy shit and causing havoc, you got a place for them.
And then they're gonna blame you and say that you allowed it.
Yep. And when you
my mom said I could go out.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she didn't tell me I had to come home at no time. My mom didn't give me no curfew.
We're gonna call your mom right now
Yeah.
and see what's gonna happen.
And she gonna be like, huh? What? Where is he? Oh no, he was supposed to be back in. Well, he knows to be back in. Let me call his father. Where dad at? She ain't talking to him.
Exactly.
They not on the same page.
What you gonna call?
Yeah,
Why?
because I need somebody to bop this situation off of. You know, I can't look too crazy. Come on, that would be crazy. Come on, that would be crazy of me.
And that's true, and that's why it's important for especially boys, because as we see all the time, they got to be providers, they got to be leaders and all that
but
stuff.
They need to be provided for. We are leaving the group of people who we're supposed to depend on like the least supported. Like you said, the girls have the way paid for them. That's easy. But the world's not supposed to rely on us later on. And like, I like to think that I have like these really large biceps, you know, and when I flex them, they sort of do like the thing that Popeye does. And I can, if I had to, right, I can put the world on my shoulders and carry it all on my own, right?
Yep. Yeah.
But when I think about it, I just don't know if it'll feel that good. Like, could you imagine? I'm quite sure you can. Because it's your walk.
Yes.
But it's just not my, and in my head, sometimes I think perhaps I could, but then I'd rather not.
Why would you?
Because it's not even my walk to take. Mine's is pretty. And guess what? La, la, la. I'm going to actually take my pretty walk, right?
Yes.
But the idea that we don't build up the people who are supposed to take on, you know, like that, literally, that world on his shoulders. It's more than a world. You're going to have a world. I'm going to be on his neck.
Yep.
The baby's going to be
hanging off of him.
Other side, the little boy on his leg. You know,
yes.
He got the world and his whole family on his shoulders, and he don't even know how to operate underneath these situations. He's not been provided for.
Nope.
He's not been respected, so he don't know how to respect people. Right?
There you go. That's exactly what the world of men are saying. Y'all don't understand our pain. You set us up for failure.
Yeah.
They're basically saying the world has set us up for failure. And now we're failing. Oh, it's your fault you're failing.
Yeah, it's your fault because you should have did like this magical trick as soon as you turned 18 and you should have unmasked yourself to the world and you should have seen everything that was clouded to you. You should have been able to just like now see it with 20/20 vision, like a magician. That's what society is basically saying to these young people. Like, if you didn't know from your upbringing at 18, kapoof, or at least at graduation, right? Because you don't have much time.
No.
You should magically wake up and see the world, and you should be living your life properly all of a sudden. And now, if you didn't have a dad, you should know how to be a dad now. Because you're grown.
Yes.
Right? You're a man now.
You're a man. And I'm a man.
Yeah.
But now you go to, oh, damn, I'm prepared for shit. I can't get a job. I got no skills. But I'm supposed to be a man, take care of stuff. And yet, those women are looking at him, why ain't you a man? Why you ain't got that 6-figure job? Why you ain't doing this? Why you struggling so much? Why you complaining? Why you ain't doing anything?
But the weird part about those women now, let me tell you about the weird part. She couldn't even pick out the 6-figure man from out the bunch if she tried. That's why she asked him why he ain't got this, that, and the fourth. So, you know, birds of a feather, I guess.
And now, and what you just said, now you have a group of men, literally. The reason why the election went the way it went, one of the reasons is men said, and a couple of them sent me some emails saying, the orange clown made me feel like a man.
Oh,
yes. He said, the guy said it. The guy said he made me feel like a man because the Democrats is making the women
feel like more women
and making them they're the leader of the house. They're giving all the opportunity.
Emasculated.
So now this orange piece of shit tells you, you know what? We're gonna stop women from doing this. We're gonna get rid of women. We're gonna give her a DEI and all that other stuff because I make you feel good about yourself.
Taking y'all jobs.
Yeah, taking all your damn jobs. You have a right to feel discounted and disenfranchised because they're making men less than men. They're making them boys now. I'm gonna turn you to a man. Oh, that makes you feel good. Especially when you got no purpose, no goals, no nothing in your life, and this clown telling you, "I'm gonna make you a man," something that your mom couldn't teach you, daddy didn't teach you. So I'm gonna make you a man. So they voted for that. Of course, it's now backfiring because now everything they told them is now going totally in the other direction. But that's the lie they sold to these kids to say they're taking it, the women are taking it from you. They're just trying to emasculate you. They're trying to do all this. And there's so many men out there that just are lost and don't feel like men. They fell for it. And now they're like, well, what do I do next? Yeah, it's good to say, yeah, you know, I should run things, but when you run it, you have a job. You don't have an education. You don't have no skill set. You can't run shit. So you got to go to her.
It's like having the empty vessel, right? And when society is going to pour into the vessel, you know, that which fills the best, you know, is what you filled up on. Yeah, I think I've heard that argument a few times. I can believe that. I can believe that. Especially when you realize that there's those men who are in, perhaps, I don't want to say it's a power struggle in the house, but I guess that's what we kind of call it, right?
Yeah.
Where it's more than the woman's bringing home more of the money. It's that y'all can't quite figure out the balance in the household and she's bringing home more money. Right, there's a little chaos going on at home, and a lot of the pull is because, you know, it's more that she's bringing home more money than you. She's working a lot of hours and she's burnt out and probably carrying more weight than you.
And why is that the case? Because she has to, because, as we said at the very beginning, the men aren't even trained or nurtured or shown how to be men.
Because like how to lighten up the load in the household, right? Like it's certain things that, you know, if you're not able to do, you call somebody out to do, right? Like if you don't want to mow the lawn, right? You would hire somebody to maintain your lawn.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't just like let it go without you have your wife complaining like, I mean, when you're going to mow the lawn, like what type of nonsense? You know, you would just simply like, let me put some money there and just contract that out because I don't want to be bothered with it.
Exactly.
Right? You would handle it. The same thing you need oil change. Right? You're going to slide yourself up underneath that car or you're going to drive around to the Jiffy Lube. Right?
There you go. Yes.
But you're going to sit there and go back and forth with the woman about, you know, you didn't take your car to get an oil change.
Because
you fix certain things and you
That's a true statement. My wife would say, oh, something wrong with the car. Babe, something wrong with the car. She ain't gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna go take the car." Car, I'm telling you, car don't run right. The air ain't working. Something ain't working. You go check it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take care of it.
Yeah.
But a lot of guys were never given that lesson.
Like the idea of you jumping in.
Yes.
Jumping in to help fix a problem because technically they should be your problems at that point, right?
That's how we were raised. It was like they pull your ass and pull you to a car quick. So I do it. The stuff I learned growing up, how to change gas tanks, how to spark plugs, change oil, all these things that they force you to do it. I don't care, they say you should know this, how to jump a car. Certain things you should just need to know as a man so you can handle that stuff.
Yeah. And that if you're not teaching, right, your child these things, your sons these things, right? Because you are beefing with the so-called baby mother, right? That's very popular today.
Yep,
like your kid don't even know which ones to hook up where underneath the hood. Okay, no. just the what is it called? Start the jump the car.
Jumper cable.
Right?
Yeah.
That's sad. Because the bottom line is if you're teaching your kid how to jump a car, right? Y'all spending at least a solid 30 minutes together.
At least.
They're going to talk about something, some other principle in life.
And that's every uncle I used to work with or work under or whatever, they taught you something. Whether it's, manually or they'll tell you about some life experience or you looked at their life. You said, damn, this uncle got 7 kids or 8 different things.
And then he also said, make sure you take care of your women.
Yep. They sure always said that.
Got that car back started up and make sure you take care, don't let that woman go without. Like not today's man. And I don't go about her. Nah.
Yeah.
I'm sure she go without. Like, are you a fool?
Mm-hmm.
Are you? And that's a lot of that is pouring into the kids. Where it's like I can't stand her so much, and I don't even want to call over there to get my kid. So now, I can't really teach my son nothing. I can't pour nothing into him. I know I don't know how he reads because no, and I get him. It's Friday night, and we just trying to sit back and watch a movie. Then Saturday we go hang out, and I'm not really Then back, I'm not really sitting down reading. We just eating and hanging out. Like I don't really got time to work on him, and through the week I don't feel like being bothered because I don't want to be bothered with the mother.
That. And it goes back to what we said many times, people. We have to grow up.
Mm-hmm.
We have to start really adulting.
Mm-hmm.
We said many times, you had sex with her, you had a kid, you played the game and you lost.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't care about her.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta care about this little person who's an innocent in this whole relationship, and I gotta be there. I may not be able to stand it. Okay, whatever, but I have to do it for this kid's benefit because that kid will grow up, and what you did put in that kid, they will suffer for it because they'll go out in this world unknown. They don't even know how a man operates.
Yeah, no, they have no clue of the things that they don't know. The other scenario, because we can never overlook this, is gonna be maybe dad's married. Maybe dad's in the same household as the kids.
Yes.
He works a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Or he watches sports a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And he makes this his personal time. Right? And because you're providing properly, and you are, right? There are men who are. You're showing up, sir. You're doing a great job financially.
Yes.
That's excellent. You got to carve out just a little bit of time to work on them. Because if not, you didn't. When they gonna grow up, they gonna be like you spoiled little shit, right?
Yep.
And to a certain extent, to people who didn't have much, they're gonna be like, yeah, I'm tired of listening to rich people problems. Like, boy,
that's true.
Spoiled shits. But the reality of it is that I've always needed more than just money, especially someone who's being formed into something, especially a leader who's being developed, right?
Yes.
You can't just teach me and I'm not just going to understand how to lead even the most basic situation, meaning myself.
Yes. you. Not a nation, not an army.
Not a family. You didn't even give me basic principles to govern myself and my body. That's why you got all these guys out here just like, just giving themselves away and their seed. Like, you didn't even just give yourself away. You left your stuff there with it. What are you doing?
Yes.
What are you doing? And they're mad that she came back to take what was yours. Yes, that's how it goes, dummy.
Yes. 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 And you made her. No. Again, ownership, accountability.
But you never knew. You don't know because nobody taught you. Nobody took the time out. They were angry. They were overworked. They were mentally trained. For all of the reasons we as parents create to not take that moment to talk directly to our children, right? To not pour something into them, to not give them those principles or those morals that's going to govern them anywhere they put themselves. Like at work, at school, like, hey, be an honest person.
Yes.
Honesty gonna take you a long way. Hey, show up and look like something, right? Always look like the generations before us. That was a big thing. Didn't you just send me something about classy women? Yeah, that was a big thing. Making sure that when you show up, you were dressed to impress. Yeah, pretty much didn't matter where you're at.
No, you could be going to a cookout.
Yeah,
you look good.
Yeah, no, And I didn't care if you say, "Oh, she might be overdressed." No, I'm dressed.
I'm dressed for the situation, and if something happens, who knows who you'll meet at
there. And you're underdressed, by the way. Yeah, that's all you had to say. You were talking about I'm overdressed. No, you're underdressed. Yeah.
Hello.
And you worrying about me? No, They dress the part. Now we're in the loungewear, lounge.
Yes, yes.
So that's not like a big one, but still making sure you're properly groomed. If you're growing out your hair, make sure that you actually, comb it, i.e., condition it and wash it. Like, these
Yes.
basic things.
Basic. Washing your ass, period. As a man, because again, ladies and gentlemen, if I get another goddamn email about how you guys ain't washing your ass and fuck up the sheets, I'm gonna scream. And I thought it was just like one or two. I'm getting this shit from India, shit from England, shit from Pakistan, and Japan. These are all different types of, and all saying the same thing. Like, God damn, so men across the world ain't washing their ass? What the fuck? I mean,
I guess some men don't know how to wash their ass.
That's scary, because if you're a man that can't wash your ass, I got nothing.
Hygiene is taught.
I thought so too. I was taught.
It's not something that you're guessing about with.
No, we talk about you from head to toe. Make sure this clean, that clean. Make sure you take care of that. Don't let this happen. No. I was taught that. It wasn't like I was just like, I think I should take a shower.
Now you take for granted the idea that someone carved out a few moments in their day to walk up to the shower and ensure that you were properly cleansing yourself and maintaining your cleanliness. Some people might not have. When we talk about people having holes in the situation, right, that gets them to the point where they have low aspirations or no aspirations at all. There's some other things missing in that situation.
Of course it is.
Right? So hygiene, definitely, there's some holes missing with that. Nobody's teaching the hygiene.
And if you ain't teaching hygiene, you ain't teaching anything else. And so now you got these boys turning into men, still acting like boys. And then
not washing their hands.
Not washing their hands, not washing their face, not brushing their damn teeth, not getting manicures, pedicures. Bless you. So these are the men that you're saying are going to lead a family. They can't lead themselves to the fucking bathroom and take care of themselves. So, if they don't change this, and I just read a whole bunch of stats on, it's not getting better and it's getting worse. And it's like those guys are like, you left me out here to just fend for myself, and society don't want to hear that. They want to hear about men complaining about you didn't do nothing for me. I'll figure it out. Problem is, they can't figure it out because school didn't teach them, family didn't teach them, church didn't teach them. All these organizations didn't teach them, and now you said be a man. Yes. And now they're angry, and now it's a backlash.
Magically, be a man today.
Yes,
and a good man. A mighty good man.
A mighty good man. Yes. A mighty good man. And that, to me, is why we have what we have right now. And women can't find. I can't find a good man. Yeah, because you got to train him. This new movie called Train Your Dragon?
Yeah.
You're going to have a movie called Train Your Man. Or Train Men. Yeah. Because the other thing is you don't have that same... how can I say this? You don't have the passing down of knowledge like we used to have. The older people would tell you this is important, and they'll beat into your head. So I have to carry myself this way because I was taught that way.
Yeah.
But we have a society now where women are raising men. And the men who are supposed to be there aren't there. Like you said, child support, I don't like her, she got a boyfriend, I got a new person. So all that is the head of, let me teach this kid, because not maybe I'm gonna say 6 out of 10 men weren't even raised by their own father.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So now they're shooting from the hip, just shooting any old shit. Don't miss that worked, that didn't work, and it only worked for you because it worked at that moment. But it's not. That's not the way you handle shit. And these men don't know how to handle, so they can't handle rejection. They can't handle, They can't find direction. They don't know their purpose.
They can't receive certain lessons because, you got to work on them throughout their childhood. Yeah, I get it.
And so now the question is, what do we need to do to change this thing around? It's multi-layered. It's not even like, well, you need to do this, because now you got grown men, 18. So now you have to approach them differently than you approach an 8-year-old.
Yeah,
and definitely. You got to be open enough to say you don't discount them. And that's a lot of things I don't like about a lot of older guys. You're like, they're just stupid. No, man, you can't say they're stupid. Nobody taught them. Somebody, we were fortunate to be taught by somebody.
Yeah.
But if you're not taught by anybody, you need to approach them differently.
The stupid one is knowing that those kids don't know anything and then holding that against them. Like, that's dumb. I just like an infant. Oh, the baby don't even know how to get his own food. Look at that. That's a stupid baby. How's a baby?
It's a baby. How the hell the baby going to figure it out? That's what you're there to teach them.
Yep.
And you have to understand, like, people would spend more time teaching a dog than they would their kid. Yeah. They would spend more time training their dog than they would their kid.
Oh, yeah, let's go out backyard, spend 45 minutes. Come on, bud. Oh, no, we ran over. We were out there for an hour and 15 minutes. Oh, look at that.
Look at him. He could do flips and everything else. But the kid, and they can't wash his ass. Kids don't understand you gotta get manicures and pedicures to make sure you take care of your health. Because what I'm seeing now is a lot of men developing a lot of health issues because no one taught them how to deal with certain things.
Grooming themselves.
And so now I can't believe I got cancer, because that's growing in men too, because they're not noticing things. Like, when men would notice shit. When you notice something's wrong, it's too late. Oh, I can't pee. Yeah, something is horrible. I know it's not laughable, but it's just like, overnight, though. Yeah. No, but you keep brushing it off, and men are supposed to suck it up. Men are supposed to, no, that's why men die early. We just as a society need to really step back and say, what are we doing? You can't wish men become men. They have to be trained to become men. But we need to set up something so these men if you're going to do it at the house, you're not going to do it in society. They got to find somehow, some way to do it. If you're not going to do it in church, we got to figure out something, how you take these kids.
No, I think what we're saying is, if what we've seen and is proven that the churches is not going to get involved to help the situation, that your school systems are not going to get involved to help the situations, who is going to be able to get involved and to help that situation?
Absolutely.
I think that's really what the question is, because we've already proven and defined that all those organizations just turn a blind eye, just disregard it.
Yes, they do.
I said to someone the other day, like, what happened to the vacation Bible schools at the local churches? Like, because you used to see them in the signs all through the neighborhood at everybody church, and that was just one, avenue that the kids would go, and it'd be just part of their, many experiences that they would have.
Absolutely.
And the church, just did more in communities. Churches, I guess, right? You would see the outreach. You would see it.
You would see somebody come out there and you take your kid. And back then, you were going to go to vacation Bible school. I don't give a damn if it was your church or somebody else's church. Somebody going to come in and you're going to go, you're going to enjoy yourself, you're going to learn, you're going to get all that. But they don't have any of that. And we're seeing it. And it's just getting worse and worse.
Or even more outreach. Like,
yes.
And for you to sow so much money into it. And, communities are just set up with the church kind of present, but I don't know how present it is, right? Like, it has this physical address in this area, but are the churches there really serving the area? And like, why you don't, not to say it's not supposed to serve the poor and the destitute, but like, damn, like, that's where the scholarships at, because at one point, we did have really good scholarships out of a lot of churches you would see and hear about, and just programs in general. It's like, I don't know. I don't know if they're operating in the same capacity. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that these things aren't still happening. I'm just saying, is it occurring in the same capacity, and does it have an outreach in the community, or just inside the church?
And I hear a lot of people say, people say, well, the church is here for you. But again, gas stations there too. I'm not going to go until I need gas. And if they're giving some sort of, supposed to show me a purpose, then you need to reach out. What if my family don't go to church? At least say, hey, and most people say, At least just have some sort of background. Let's just go and see. And if the kid goes, great. That means you get some sort of guidance. Because if you don't have guidance and you just kind of wing it, we see what winging is getting us. And who suffers overall? Everybody suffers. The kids suffer. The future suffers. Women suffer. Because now, probably a couple weeks ago, I was with a bunch of women. They were like, it's hard to find a good man. Good women. Women got jobs, doing well. He's like, we can't find a guy who ain't trying to live off of me or trying to move in my house. And I'm like, if I was going to be, you never think about moving into a woman's house. You better have your own. But don't move into somebody else's house, because that, to me, you're homeless. To me, your mom like, find somebody to go live with. I'm tired of taking care of your ass. Go on live with her. So these women, professional women, smart women, they can't find anybody. And I'm talking women in 30s, 40s, and 50s. Can't find anybody. And they're like, why ain't men like you? Well, they don't, ain't like you can put men like me in raise us. Somebody has to be able to raise and pass that and be willing to teach the next generation. I talk to everybody, the young kids, like they're mine. Because again, I'm not going to just say discount you, like you shouldn't feel this way. I don't know how you were brought up. So for me, I have to listen to you. And if I start to say, damn, you didn't get this, you didn't get that training, so then I start to throw in those little holes and have those conversations. I'm not going to call anybody stupid. I'm not going to call anybody, you should know. That's not reality.
Right.
So you have to be able to step outside yourself and have these conversations. Now I get this. Oh, let me ask you this. Of course, I'm an open door, because I don't want you to ever get out in this world. Nobody never told me how to do this. Nobody never said to do this. No, I want to have that real conversation. If you ain't really ready to have a kid, protect yourself. Don't use her. Don't say, oh, she said, no. You're a grown man. You can't afford a kid, even though she got protection. You can still have a kid. They didn't say 100%. Are you willing to take care of a kid if you can't take care of yourself? And they're like, well, I can't take care of myself. Well, you can't take care of a kid. Because the other thing is you got to now put yourself on the side, because then you got to take care of this kid.
Make sacrifices. You didn't even sacrifice nothing for yourself yet.
No. And that's why a lot of these guys are just like, somebody need to listen to us. And I'm like, we're going to talk about it. And this is a conversation you're going to have, we'll get a little deeper. And I just want to initially have that conversation like, yes, we hear you. I feel your pain, but now you have to go and search for stuff. At this point, nobody's gonna come and tell you how to be a man. You have to now say, I don't know how to be a man, and you need to go and just put your pride down and say, hey, I'm going through some things, and be careful you get the information from too. You can't get that information from just any old body.
Right.
Like, you can go to your father got all the information. You go to somebody else's father, he's clueless. Don't listen to him.
Yeah.
He's a goddamn fool. So listen to T's father. He knows that man has done all he needed to do. That fool, he still can't get his life right. And again, we have to do better, in order for the women to feel like I'm putting in the work and do what I need to do to make myself what I want to be. And I find a guy who's doing the same thing, who wants to make himself better. But we can't just leave it up to, chance.
No, you also, as a woman, you have to do better. Like, when choosing a guy, and then also more than just choosing him, engaging with him, right? The man who keep playing with you, like, perhaps he shows up to your doorstep and he's broke. Right? But he doesn't show up to my doorstep broke.
Hello.
He's broke because he left me. Right? And now he's knocking at your doorstep because I went out of town for the weekend. So now he has time for, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you think a man is playing with you, he is. And whether he's playing with you because he's got another woman, he's just financially not disciplined, or he's, I'm just not ready yet. Fine. I'm okay with that. But there's certain benefits that you don't have access to. See?
Yes.
See? But no, now you talking about I needed somebody to lay with me last night. Listen, don't play with these men like that. And then talk about only type of guys I'm getting is this type of guy. No, that guy is only that guy or 7 out of 10 of those men, they only show up playing with you like that because you allow it. See, they not going over on my side of town and playing over here with these girls like this because they can't.
No, they know they can't.
They know they can't. They be like, no, you know what? I mean, it was nice. You're a great guy and all, but you know, let's just text.
Yeah.
Like, cause why not? Why would I waste my time playing this type of a game? So like, when they say men are about action, I think we should believe that, like how he's moving. And then you're just gonna sit there and believe any and everything? No, all the songs have told you, right? Like, come on, if you in the culture, we sang about every scenario that could have happened.
Absolutely.
Right? Even down to, remember Bill? Song about what if it's Bill? He was like, remember that?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
We covered all the scenarios, and no shade to none of them. I'm just saying we covered them all. So if he's playing with you, you do know it, and yes. you don't have to do the most. To carry on. You know, you just carry on.
Absolutely.
Like maybe on the second rodeo, maybe you'll come correct on another moment. But for right now, this is not it. So I can't accept this. Let me carry on. Get out the way, fool. No, you broke today, but you got money tomorrow, but you didn't yesterday. I need my money all the time.
We all do.
You know, so I just to let you know, sir, I can't play around with the inconsistent financial situation. Yes. You're a great guy. But I just kind of feel like, you're just financially all over the place. And it's okay to tell that man that he actually might get his shit together.
He might get his shit together because what's going to happen? Adversity is going to make his ass change. Yeah. Because you can keep doing the same shit over and over.
Mm-hmm. Getting that cheap joint around the corner that they ain't even the same. It don't even feel the same.
No.
Y'all know it don't. So cut it out, or you can get yourself together and get you the woman that you actually want.
See, and that people, you have to decide what you accept in your life, and that's you. That's the woman. You have to decide: do I want a man, or I just want a sort of a man so I can play around with
a male?
A male,
yeah.
Not a man, but a male.
A male.
And again, men. You understand you don't play games because men don't play games. Men just say, here's what I want, here's what I'm looking for, and you go.
Unless it's about games. See, some of them play lots of games and some of them play only games, right? And that'll ruin your life.
Yes. That is so true. And so, and so ladies and gentlemen, regardless of how you grew up, regardless of how you ended up where you currently are, you had a responsibility for yourself to do better, to level yourself up. Nobody wants to hear my mama wasn't and my daddy was that. Nobody gives a fuck. The world don't give a fuck. Women don't give a fuck. Men don't give a fuck. All we care about, come to us as a complete package. You may be working on yourself, but come as a complete package and understand if you do that, you'll find a lot of happiness in your life. And men, find your purpose. Find however you need to do it. Find your skill set so you can be better and be able to work, have a family, and lead the world or lead your family somewhere better. So with that, we're going to end this episode of On the Mic with M.
Auntie.
And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, today we just hit 20,000 subscribers. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. Keep coming on. We're going to keep giving this information to you to make your life better. So until next time, before I forget, subscribe, hit a like, and just keep giving us comments. We love it. Give us the feedback. We love it. So until next time, y'all, peace and blessings.